So I'm Dr. Lutz May, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I'm going to take the topic Cloud Software Environment for the subject Cloud Computing. So Eucalyptus was initially aimed at, this is one of the cloud software environment. Eucalyptus was initially aimed at bringing the cloud computing paradigm to academic supercomputers and clusters. Eucalyptus provides AWS, Amazon Web Services compliant, and EC2 Elastic Compute based web service interface for interacting with the cloud service. Additionally, Eucalyptus provides services such as AWS compliant Walrus and a user interface for managing user and images, which allows the client to lease the remote resources by deploying virtual machine on their resources and configuring them to represent the environment desired. Nimbus provides a special web interface known as Nimbus Web. Its aim is to provide administrative and user functions in a diagram. So pilot mode. So here the service makes a request to the cluster's local resource management system to get a VM manager available to deploy virtual machine. So Nimbus also provides an implementation of Amazon EC2 interface that allows user to use clients developed for the real EC2 system against Nimbus-based clouds. The next computing environment is OpenNebula, Sector and Space. We'll see one by one. OpenNebula. So what is OpenNebula? Is an open source toolkit which allows users to transform existing infrastructure into an IaaS cloud, infrastructure as a service cloud with cloud-like interfaces. So architecture and components are. The architecture of OpenNebula has been designed to be flexible and modular to allow integration with the different storage and network devices, network interface configuration, and hypervisor technologies. The core is a centralized component that manages the VM lifecycle, which includes networks dynamically for groups of virtual machine and managing their storage requirements such as VM disk image deployment or the fly software and a functionality provided by the core. The default capacity of the scheduler is a requirement or a rank matchmaker. So it is also possible to develop more complex scheduling policies through a lease model and advanced reservation. The last component is the access drivers. Access driver provides an abstraction of the underlying infrastructure to expose the basic functionality of the monitoring, storage, and virtualization services that is available in the cluster itself. OpenNebula is not tied to any specific environment and can provide uniform management layer regardless of the virtualization platform. So OpenNebula offers management interfaces to integrate the core functionality with the data center management tools such as accounting or monitoring framework. It provides libvirt API, so open source open interface for VM management as well as command line interface. The functionality of the subset is exposed to external user through a code interface. OpenNebula is able to adapt to organization with the changing resource needs. Whenever the resource need changes, including addition or failure of the physical resources. Some essential features to support changing environments are live migration data. So the fault tolerance is implemented by replicating data in the file system and managing the replicas. Since Sector is aware of the network topology when it passes replicas, it also provides better reliability, availability, and access. So the diagram is given. So secure socket layer. So data is also Sphere. Sphere is parallel processing engine designed to work with the data managed by the sector. This coupling allows the system to make accurate decisions about job scheduling and data allocation. Sphere provides a programming framework that the developers can use to process data stored. The UDFs to run all the input data segments in parallel. The data locality can be implemented. So the failed data segments may be restarted on other nodes to achieve fault tolerance. So in the Sphere application, both inputs and outputs are sector files. Multiple Sphere processing segments can be combined to support complicated applications. The sector or the platform, Sphere platform is supported by the architecture So it also have the master server that can be considered as an infrastructure core. The master server contains file system metadata. It can able to schedule the job. It can respond to the user request. Sector supports multiple active manager that can join and leave at any time at runtime and manage the request. Another component is slave nodes, which where the data is stored and processed. The slave nodes can be located within a single data center or across multiple data centers with a high speed network connection. The last component is the client. So one most component is the space, and it contains a framework to support column based distributed data tables. Therefore, tables are stored by columns and segmented onto multiple slave nodes. Tables are independent and no relation between them are supported. There is no relationship between the tables. Reduced set of SQL operations supported. So table creation and modification, key value updates and lookups, and select UDF operations.